another stream. Weather's looking nice today, boy. Looking nice, man. Looking nice. As you can see, summer's around the corner, man. So, good times ahead. So yeah, today, guys, I'm gonna do a bit of a different one. Obviously, the Nations League is coming up, the quarterfinals. I believe it's I think you got Denmark against Portugal, Italy versus Germany. I think it's Spain, Croatia, and then France. Is it France, Netherlands? It might be. I'll have to check. But so yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go through the squads of all the teams remaining, obviously from the Nations League, the four quarterfinals, and then I'm gonna give you my predictions on who I think will win the Nations League and how some of the teams are gonna line up. So yeah, guys, make sure you smash the comments in. Make sure you smash that like button, and obviously make sure you subscribe to my channel at Gav Goes In. Guys, I'm 20 away from 900 subscribers, which again, as I mentioned, I've been doing it consistently for the last 3 or 4 months, I would say, and it's just slowly starting to build. So yeah, guys, would appreciate obviously you guys smashing that like button, subscribing to my channel. And as I said, yeah, guys, make sure you give your comments. Let me know what you think, what teams are likely to win the Nations League, and let me know what you think of the potential lineups as well. So I'm going to give you my lineups. So first off, we got Spain, who for me, obviously, World Cup, not World Cup, sorry, Euros, the Euros holders at the moment. And for me, one of the strongest teams, obviously, in this Nations League. You know, obviously they've got a few notable superstars teams. Or should I say one? Well, yeah, for me, they got a couple of notable superstars in their teams. And for me, I think they're gonna for sure be the favourites to win this Nations League. Again, they got a tough game up against Croatia. I think they should beat Croatia, but I think it's one of them things where if you're getting to the quarterfinal at this stage, you should expect to try and go all the way. So if we go through Spain's squad, so they got the three goalkeepers. So you got David Raya, obviously of Arsenal, Unai Simon of Athletic Bilbao, and then you've got Alex Romero from Real Sociedad. For me, Unai Simon is the mainly starts, ball playing goalkeeper. Ball playing goalkeeper. And for me, I wouldn't expect David Raya. I know David Raya has been in decent form for Arsenal this season, but Unai Simon, for me, will start. And Alex Romero, obviously, will be the third choice as well. So, but I think in terms of that quartet of keepers, again, Spain like to play out from the back. And I think all three of them are more than adept at playing out from the back. Big up Light of Speed. And you've got Sissy Fox have come on. Guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel and you smash that like button. So is his name Gogesh? Okay, big up Gogesh. Yeah, guys, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to my channel. Just gonna go through the Nations League squads and the potential lineups just on Spain at the moment. So defenders, so you got Pedro Porro of Tottenham. You got Oscar Mingueza, formerly of Barcelona. He plays right back, and I think he can play centre back as well. And then you've got Robin Lenormand from Atletico Madrid. Obviously, Barcelona young defender Pau Kabasi, Inigo Martinez, and Raul Asensio from Real Madrid. Again, who was a surprise call-up, but because of his form, he fully deserved it. For me, Pedro Porro doesn't usually. Sorry, I ain't finished. Sorry, Alejandro Grimaldo and Marc Cucurella. So normally, obviously, right back is Danny Carvajal. But obviously Carvajal's out to the end of the season. So you'd expect between you'd expect between Pedro Porro and Oscar Mingueza to be starting at right back. I think Pedro Porro would get the nod. Obviously, he's more experienced than Oscar Mingueza. So I expect Pedro Porro to be starting at right back. Left back, Mark Cucurella, I think, will start. Obviously, had a great season for Chelsea. Grimaldo's more of a wing back, but I think Cucurella, just because obviously he played in the recent Euros as well, he's primed to start left back. And again, he's been very good this season. To be fair, in a up and down season for Chelsea. And then the centre backs, again, you've got Robin Lenormand, Pau Kabasi, Inigo Martinez, and Raul Asensio. So for me, I think Lenormand might start, and I know he hasn't been playing recently for Atletico Madrid, but obviously he did play in the recent Euros victory. Again, Inigo Martinez, left-sided centre back. Obviously of Barcelona. He has been in the squad a few times, so he could get the nod as well. And then you've got the two young guns in Pau Kabasi, 17 years of age, and Raul Asensio. I think Raul Asensio might be slightly older than Pau Kabasi, but obviously it's his first time into the squad. Big up Deeper Collections. Guys, make sure you smash that like button, guys, and subscribe to my channel. And give me your questions. What do you think of the Spain squad for the Nations League? What do you think? I think I think Spain personally might go with the experience of Lenormand and Inigo Martinez. Obviously, both formerly of Real Sociedad as well. So I think they would have played together for Real Sociedad and would have built up that understanding. So they might use that as the experience, and then have Pau Kabasi and Asensio as the backup for them, I believe. It wouldn't surprise me if Pau Kabasi starts, because Pau Kabasi, he's 17, but a very mature and older head on his shoulders. Obviously Asensio is not expected to start because, as I said, he's his first time in the squad. But yeah, big up Light of Speed, man. Just let me get through these and I'll get back to you in a bit, man. But big up for coming on. So yeah, I think Lenormand and Martinez will be the two centre backs, and then Kabasi and Asensio, I think, will probably start on the bench just because of the experience. And then moving on to midfield. Now this is where it gets interesting in the midfield, because again, arguably their best midfielder, Rodri, who's been out for the whole season, is not there. Obviously, he's their captain as well, so he'll be a big miss. But they've got Martin Zubimendi, recently played against Manchester United in the Europa League. Didn't really play too well, but obviously he plays in the same position, and he possibly might start as well. You got Mark Casado, I think, actually injured now. I think he's out for 2 months. So yeah, I think he's out for 2 months. So I believe that he won't be featuring. So I think they've called in a replacement, which I haven't heard from at the moment. Fabian Ruiz of PSG, and obviously played in the recent Euros win as well, and he'll be starting for me. Top player, left-footed as well, adds that balance. He adds the physicality as well in terms of his height, good in the air, but he's actually a ball player as well. And then you've got Mikel Merino of Arsenal. Obviously he's been playing as a false nine at the moment for Arsenal due to their injuries. And then you've got Alex Baena from Villarreal, top player from Villarreal. And to be fair, he's got a release clause, and I expect to see someone activate his release clause. He's a very good player. Attacking midfielder in the same mold of a trying to think of who's quite similar to him. Probably you say like a Pedri, I would say. And going on to Pedri, for me, one of the best players in the world. For me, one of the top 3 central midfielders in the game, and for sure he'll be starting. So I can see their midfield lining up with Martin Zubimendi playing as the deepest lying midfielder, obviously replacing Rodri, and then either side Pedri and Fabian Ruiz. I think they might play, because Pedri has played in as a number 10, But I think they might play a 4-3-3, playing Pedri on the right, Fabian Ruiz on the left, and then Martin Zubimendi as the deepest line, with Alex Baena, Mikel Merino, and I think they've drafted in someone else as well into the midfield. And then going forwards, obviously, as I mentioned, superstars Lamine Yamal for me, currently the best player in the world. Best young player in the world, and the future of football. So for me, definitely he'll be starting on that right hand side. And then on the left, I think it'll be interesting to see, because I'm trying to find a place for Dani Olmo, but Dani Olmo hasn't been playing. Obviously at Barcelona, hasn't been playing that much, and I think the combination of Nico Williams, who I think is going to start on the left hand side, him and Lamine Yamal together will cause problems. So I think Nico Williams will start on the left, Lamine Yamal on the right, and then going through the middle, I know Alvaro Morata has been the main striker for Spain for a number of years now. You got Ferran Torres as well, who can play through the middle or play out wide. But I think Yamal and Nico Williams will definitely be playing in the wide areas. You've got Yeremy Pino from Villarreal as well, who's a good player, plays on the right. Jose Perez, formerly of Newcastle. And I believe he played for someone else in the Premier League as well. Newcastle and I can't remember the other team. But I think Jose Perez will be back up. Brian Zaragoza of Bayern Munich. I think he might be on loan is he at Granada this season? Mikel Rafabel from Real Sociedad, who again could get a start, but I don't think he will. And then you've got, interestingly, Samu Omorodion, formerly of Atletico Madrid, who's now at Porto, who will offer a different kind of avenue for Spain to attack. Obviously, Omorodion can play on the shoulder. He's very strong as well, can play as a target man. But interestingly, I think it might be Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal, and Alvaro Morata, because I think Morata might be the captain, actually. Him and Rodri, I think, were captain and vice captain. So I think Morata might get the nod with Nico Williams and Yamal either side. And then Dani Olmo could actually start in the 10. So they could play Dani Olmo in the 10 and then play Pedri and Fabian Ruiz slightly deeper, So they've got options there. But I think Morata, Nico Williams, and Yamal will start for sure as the front three. With could be Pedri, Ruiz, and Zubimendi if they want to get more control in the midfield. But if they believe that, yeah. So I think that the defining factor will be Dani Olmo or Zubimendi, who's going to start. Because I think if they want to get more control in the midfield, then you're going to play Zubimendi as the deepest line midfielder. Or if they want to go on the front foot and just kill the game off early, then I think they'll play Dani Olmo as the 10. So, for me, very strong squad. Two of the best young players in the game, in Pedri and Lamine Yamal. And for me, yeah, I can see Spain, obviously Croatia will be a difficult game, but they should get through that, no problem, in my opinion, with the quality that they have in their team. And for me, definitely one of the favourites for this tournament. So yeah, moving on to France. I believe France. I'm not sure. I can't remember who France are playing, guys. If you know who France have got in the Nations League quarterfinal, yeah, let me know. Big up Red Dead Clips. Big up for coming on. As I said, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to my channel at Gav Goes In. So France, we're going to go through France's squad, guys. So we've got the four keepers. So you've got Bryce Samba from Lens, formerly of Nottingham Forest, funny enough, as well, in the Championship. Obviously, the number one, Mike Maignan from AC Milan, Alphonse Areola from West Ham, and then you've got Lucas Chevalier from Lille. For me, Mike Maignan, obviously, I think he's one of the best keepers in the world, especially with the ball at his feet. And for sure, he'll be the number one. And the backup to him, obviously, Samba, Areola, and Chevalier. I think they won't get too much game time, only if Maignan gets an injury. But yeah, Mike Maignan, a very good captain, leader as well. So yeah, he will for sure be in between the sticks for France. In defence, so they've got Benjamin Pavard from Bayern Munich, um, Lucas Digne from Aston Villa, Loic Bade, who I think might be his first cap from Sevilla. You got Deo Upamecano, Jules Koundé, Ibrahima Konate, and William Saliba making up the defence with Jonathan Klaus, Wesley Fofana, and Teo Hernandez. So for me, right back will be Jules Koundé is going to be the right back. Jules Koundé is formerly a centre back, obviously at Sevilla, but I think it's safe to say that he's actually a right back now for Barcelona and for France. So he starts both right back for both of them. So he'll definitely be playing there. Left back for me will be Teo Hernandez. For France, he's actually very very reliable. He's an attacking threat as well. So Koundé and Teo Hernandez have been their preferred fullbacks for a while now, and I don't see that changing. Lucas Digne obviously will back up Teo Hernandez at left back for France, and the same with Benjamin Pavard, who can play as a centre back as well, but mainly has played as a right back. And Jonathan Klaus from Marseille, I think he'll be the attacking option if they want to change things in mid-game. But for sure, Koundé and Teo Hernandez will definitely be starting. Going into the centre-backs, now this will be interesting because for me, Loic Bade is his first call-up. And obviously Wesley Fofana has just come up from injury, so I don't expect them to be featuring prominently for France, unless there's a mad injury. But yeah, those two won't be starting. But it's between Upamecano, Konate, and Saliba. I think Upamecano starts because I think with Didier Deschamps, Upamecano does have a mistake in him, but Deschamps does like him a lot, and I think he will get the nod. And it's whether it's going to be between Konate and Saliba. Some people might think it should be Konate and Saliba together, which would be a good combination. But yeah, big up Reluctant Gamer, man. Big up for coming on, bro. Just going through the Nations League squads. Just done Spain, just on France's now. Big up yourself for coming on. And as I said, I think Upamecano will start, and it's whether it's going to be Konate or Saliba next to him. I would possibly say, I'd possibly say he might. I think he's going to play Konate with Upamecano, and I think that's because sorry guys, 1 second. So I'm driving. I've got a job. I'll be on 30 minutes if you're still about. Yeah, bro. No worries, man. I'm just doing as I say the Nations League squads. I got a few to get through, man. So yeah, it might be 30 minutes or it might be slightly shorter than that. I'm not too sure, man. But yeah, get on when you can, man. Appreciate you coming on, bro. No worries, man. As I said, make sure you smash that like button and I know you've subscribed already. But yeah, big up yourself for coming on, bro. So if I'm still there, man, then yeah, just jump on and give me your comments as always, man. Big up. So yeah, I mean, yeah, big up, bro. I would personally play. I'd personally play Konate and Saliba together, probably. Because Upamecano does have a mistake in him, but for France, he's actually good. So, you could play either, really. But I think he's going to go with Upamecano and... Actually, you know what? I think he'll go with Upamecano and Saliba because I don't think Konate's played as much, But you could pick either one. But that, to be fair, that's a strong defence. Teo Hernandez at left back. What's his face? Jules Koundé at right back. And then you pick in between Upamecano, Konate, and Saliba, which I'll possibly say... I'll possibly say Upamecano and Saliba, probably, yeah. But that's nothing on Konate because it could be Konate in there. But that's how strong I think those three are. I know Upamecano's got a mistake, but for France, he's actually decent. And then moving on to their midfield. So for me, one of the best midfielders in the world, doesn't play enough for Real Madrid, and that's Eduardo Camavinga. So for me, I think he definitely should be starting. But Deschamps likes to play Adrian Rabiot as the left-sided midfielder. Um, so I'm not too sure, but Camavinga for me has to start. His Real Madrid teammate Aurelien Tchouameni hasn't had a great season, but I would play Tchouameni and Camavinga as the midfield pivot together. But they've got options. Obviously, N'Golo Kante, playing in Saudi, still gets into the squad. Kone as well is a good player, but I don't think he'll be starting. Warren Zaire-Emery from PSG, obviously a youngster. Again, he's someone that won't start, but will be used as a bench option. And then you've got Matteo Guendouzi, and then you've got Youssef Fofana from AC Milan. Obviously, there's no Paul Pogba, which again, obviously Pogba is on his way back to playing. And for me, if he starts playing regularly, he gets into that squad easily and starts because he's still got that quality. And I'd like to see Paul Pogba, if anything, playing further forward as like a number 10, having a Camavinga and Tchouameni behind him. But he's not in there. But for me, Tchouameni and Camavinga will be playing in that deep line midfield. I believe he might go with Rabiot or Kante. That's the only problem. But I think going forwards, I think he needs to kind of, Rabiot and Kante are for me seen as the old guard, and I think he needs to be progressing into playing Tchouameni and Camavinga, for the foreseeable. That's what I think. That's the way I think he has to go. You know. Going forwards, you've got Ousmane Dembele for me, who's definitely going to start. He's in the form of his career. I think he's got something like 21 goals in his last 17 games or something like that, I heard. And I think he's got the most goals at the start of the year. So he'll definitely be playing. And I believe he'll be playing from the... I think he'll be playing from the left. I think he might start from the left. Actually, no. I think Dembele's going to play from the right. I think he'll play Dembele from the right. Antoine Griezmann, for me, top player, will be playing in the 10. I don't think there's no argument there. There's no one really that kind of competes with Antoine Griezmann in that 10 position. And then from the left, it's going to be interesting to see because Mbappe plays from the left, but because he's been playing for Real Madrid through the middle, are they going to stick with that? I think Marcus Thuram, who's out injured anyway. I think Kolo Muani. I don't think Kolo Muani is going to start. Bradley Barcola could start, or Kingsley Coman. But a lot of it's going to depend on Mbappe, because if Coman's going to use Mbappe from the left and play Ousmane Dembele from the right, that means you're looking at Kolo Muani as the striker because Marcus Thuram's out. And again, the options ain't that great, but I think he might go with that. Kolo Muani through the middle if he plays Mbappe from the left. Or he could play Kingsley Coman from the left and Mbappe through the middle. But I think he might play Mbappe through the middle because he's been playing there for France, for Real Madrid. And then it's between Bradley Barcola or Kingsley Coman that gets that nod. Obviously, you've got Michael Olise as a top player, but I don't think Olise will start because he's relatively still inexperienced on the international stage. But they could go Dembele from the left, Olise from the right, and then Mbappe through the middle. But I think he'll go Dembele on the right, Mbappe from the left, and I think he might start Kolo Muani through the middle. That's what I think Deschamps might do. But again, for me, France's squad has always been solid. They are missing the likes of Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial as well to come into this squad if them guys either get back playing regularly, or in Martial's case, makes a move to a European club in the summer. But yeah, man, it's still a solid squad, but it just depends on how Deschamps is going to line up, because for me, he has to play a midfield of Camavinga and Tchouameni with Antoine Griezmann in the 10. And in the front three, again, Dembele and Mbappe are going to start. It's just whether Mbappe plays from the left or as a striker, really, which sets up how the other players might feature. But again, another strong team. France, who will be one of the favourites. We're going to move on to Germany. So for me, Germany, obviously playing Italy, and there's a few absences which again might, well, definitely from a playing sense, is going to change the outlook of their team. You know, but in goal there's no Manuel Neuer, which I'm surprised about. Whether I'm not sure if Neuer is actually retired from international football, and if he has, then it kind of explains why he's not there. But you've got three goalkeepers in Man City's Stefan Ortega, Alexander Nubel, formerly of Bayern Munich, who's now at Stuttgart, and you've got Oliver Baumann of Hoffenheim. For me, I'm not too sure who's going to start, because Manuel Neuer, and obviously you got no Marc-Andre ter Stegen, who obviously has been the backup to Neuer for years. Obviously, ter Stegen's out injured, and Manuel Neuer is either injured or retired. I'm not sure, but you would say Ortega, but he hasn't played enough for Man City. So I'm gonna go with possibly Alexander Nubel to start in goal. Yeah, I think he might start in goal. And obviously, as we know, with Germany, they play a three at the back. You know, you've got Bissek from Inter Milan, who's been drafted into the squad for the first time. Obviously, Joshua Kimmich, again, plays in midfield for Bayern Munich, but for sure will be playing right back. Robin Koch, formerly of Leeds, but now he's playing in Germany. I can't remember who he's playing for, though. Max Littlestad, left back. He possibly might start as one of the wing backs. Or you got David Raum, again from Leipzig. You know, him or Mittelstadt will be playing as the wing backs. Antonio Rudiger, one of the best defenders in the world, for sure will be marshalling that defence. And then you got Nico Schlotterbeck and Jonathan Tah of Bayer Leverkusen. So for me, I've got Kimmich down as a defender, but I think Kimmich will be playing in midfield. Because if they play their three at the back, their three at the back should look like Antonio Rudiger as a right-sided centre-back, Nico Schlotterbeck obviously being left-footed as a left-side centre-back, and then Jonathan Tah in the middle. And to be fair, that's a combination there of, you've got a bit of pace there, you've got strength there, you've got aerial ability there, and you've got ball playing there in Nico Schlotterbeck as well. So that's a good combination for me. And that leaves the wing backs, which again, I think, well, in actual fact, just going back to their defence, I don't think they're going to play a three at the back, because they're quite light as in fullback. So this is why Joshua Kimmich plays there. So I think they're going to play four at the back with Joshua Kimmich playing right back. And then they're going to have a back four, a left back. I think it'll be David Raum, because I think Mittelstadt's probably better as a wing back. And then the two centre backs, Rudiger, will be playing, I believe, if they want to go for balance, it's going to be Schlotterbeck. Or if they just want to go for strength, then it's going to be Jonathan Tah. So Rudiger definitely plays, just whether it's going to be alongside Jonathan Tah or Nico Schlotterbeck. You know, because I think their system is probably better suited to wing back, to playing three at the back. As a right wing back, I'd play Karim Adeyemi, but I don't think they're going to do that. So yeah, I think they might go four at the back, especially because Florian Wirtz is out injured as well. That could mean that the system might enable Musiala to play as a lone 10. And in midfield, mentioned Adeyemi again. He could play from the right. You got Amiri from Mainz, Robert Andrich of Bayer Leverkusen, Leon Goretzka, who's been recalled from Bayern Munich, Pascal Gross, formerly of Brighton, Llewellyn, who I'm not too familiar with, from Stuttgart, the star man Jamal Musiala, Leroy Sané, and Angelo Stiller, who's replaced, you would say, Florian Wirtz. The fact that there's no Florian Wirtz, which is a massive miss, I think they might play with a lone 10. Because I think the formation they play when they got Musiala and Wirtz in there is for 10s, playing like a 3-4-3 system. But because there's no Wirtz, I think Musiala will play his own 10. And then you're going to have Leroy Sané and probably Karim Adeyemi either side. I think Adeyemi will play from the right, Musiala in the 10, and then Leroy Sané on the left. And then strikers, again, through the years, Germany have always been, quite starved of strikers from from the era of Jurgen Klinsmann's, they had Mario Gomez, Oliver Bierhoff, they never really had, apart from, I would say, probably Klinsmann or like so Rudi Voller and them throughout the years, they never really had an actual number 9 that is regarded as, someone that's the best in the world. So if you look at their front line now, again, there's guys that not really too familiar with. It's Jonathan Burkhardt from Mainz, Clyde Eist from Gladbach, and you've got Dennis Undav, formerly of Brighton, who's now at Stuttgart. And I think this tells the problem in itself is that, Germany, who's one of the big powerhouses of European football, not having a striker that's playing for either Bayern Munich or Borussia Dortmund or Bayer Leverkusen, it shows their problem. So I don't really know who they're going to start with really as a striker. I'd possibly say it might be Dennis Undav, who's probably been in the squad a lot more than Burkhardt and Kleindeist, So yeah, I think going forwards, it's a problem for them. But I see Germany, I see them against Italy, it's an either or, I think. I'm not sure who wins that game, but I don't see Germany winning it personally because I don't think they'll have the firepower to cause the likes of a Spain, the likes of a France problems when it gets into the latter stages, But that's Germany's team, guys. Again, moving on to Italy's team. So just similar, I think very similar to Germany, I would say. Throughout the years, these teams have had some superstars in their teams, but I think, yeah, these are two teams that are trying to get back to the top. And for me, the fact that both teams are playing each other, I think it's more of a long road ahead for these teams to get back up to challenging the very best, in my opinion. I think in terms of Germany's attacking options, especially in midfield, they've got two of the best young players in the game in Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala. So they might get there quicker. But in terms of what their overall team is, I think they're very similar. Italy, you've got Gianluigi Donnarumma from PSG, obviously well known, and he'll definitely be the number 1 for them. One of the best keepers in the world. Alex Merritt from Napoli and Vicario from Tottenham. Defenders, they've got, again, there's not really a lot of defenders that are too familiar with people, but you've got Alessandro Bastoni, who will definitely start as a left side centre-back. Again, they play 3 at the back, but they could actually play 4 at the back, I think, because of their some of the players they have. Yeah, big up Gaurav Singh. Big up, bro, for coming on. Guys, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to my channel at Gav Goes In. We're just going through the... yeah, I'm all good, bro. I'm all good, man. Big up Musa Mohamed as well. Guys, I'm just discussing the Nations League quarterfinals that starts tomorrow. Just going through the squads and how I think some of the teams will line up. So you've got Buongiorno from Napoli, Arsenal's Riccardo Calafiori, Andrea Cambiaso from Juventus, Camuzzo from Fiorentina, who I'm not too familiar with, Giovanni Di Lorenzo from Napoli. You've got, I almost said Arturo Gatti, if anyone knows Arturo Gatti, boxer, but he's not Arturo Gatti, it's, I can't remember his name, but it's Gatti from Juventus. Ruggeri from Atalanta, and then you've got Destiny Udogie from Tottenham. So I think how they're going to line up at the back, I think they're going to play a... It's interesting to be honest with you, because I was going to say 3 at the back, and they possibly might do that, actually. I'm not too sure. I think the problem that they've got is that if you look at their defence, I think Destiny Udogie should be starting left back for them. And you've got Di Lorenzo, who starts right back, with Cambiaso backing it up. And then obviously Calafiori can play as a left back as well. But I think the problem they've got is that Bastoni starts, and I think Calafiori might start as well. But the problem is they're both left-footed. So if they play three at the back, then you could play one of them in the centre, and then one of them obviously as a left side centre back, which means you're looking at Gatti, Ruggeri, Camuzzo, or Biorgiorno as the right side centre back, which I'm not too familiar with these guys. So I don't think they're going to play two left side centre backs. You know, they could do, and if they do that, then it's going to be Calafiori and Bastoni with Di Lorenzo right back, and then Destiny Udoji as the left back. So they could actually do that. But they've got options there, you know. But some of the other defenders they've got there, I'm not too familiar with, and it'd be interesting to see if they're actually going to start the game. And then moving on to midfield, again, they've got Nicola Barella and Sandro Tonali of Newcastle. So them two will definitely start. Barella of Inter Milan as well. And then they've got Casadei, formerly of Chelsea. David Fratesi, who is at... Who's he play for again, Fratesi? Inter Milan. And you've got the young guns in Nicola Ravella and Samuel Ricci, who's rated very highly. But I think they're going to play a free midfield, and I think it's going to be Tonali at the base of it with Barella and Fratesi at the head of it in that midfield. And then going forwards, again, you've got Moise Kean, you've got Luca from Udinese. I think you got Maldini, I think, who is Paolo Maldini's son. Matteo Politano from Napoli. Raspadori from Napoli. Matteo Retegui from Atalanta. And Zaccagni of Lazio. So again, going forward, not too many familiar names. I think the most familiar names people would know would be Moise Kean. Obviously, because he played in the Premiership. Retegui's having a good season with Atalanta. So yeah, I think again, just like Germany, the attacking options ain't really that great, you know. So, and again, they're wide players who, you know, they had some decent wide players back in the day. There's no Federico Chiesa as well, which is a surprise, but he's not been playing regularly for Liverpool. But you're probably going to see Retegui play through the middle, and then maybe they might play two up top. I'm not too sure with Raspadori. Politano could play on the right. But yeah, they've got players there really that won't be too familiar with people. And this is the problem, I think, with Italy. You know, they've had some strikers down the years, like the likes of Christian Vieri, Pippo Inzaghi, Del Piero, Totti. It's probably guys I've missed. You know, there's obviously guys that's not in the squad as well. But it just shows you the problems, really, that these nations are having, because they used to have some real bad boys, and now, you know, it's like we're not even sure who's gonna be playing. But yeah, I think Italy, for me, won't win this Nations League. Not with that attack, I would say. But I think midfield, they've got some decent midfielders there, but it's not going to be enough. Moving on to Portugal. You know, Portugal throughout the years have always had, you know, a solid squad. And obviously there's a notable absentee from their squad, which again surprised me. But obviously probably because it's Nations League, they might want to rest him for the World Cup, possibly, I would say, for his last World Cup. So goalkeepers, you've got Diogo Costa of Porto, Rui Silva of Sporting Lisbon, and Jose Sarr of Wolves. Diogo Costa will get the nod. Obviously, he's been the number one for a little while now. Possibly might be moving in the summer as well, but I think Porto's price tag might prove too much. But decent keeper, so he'll definitely be number one for them. And in defence, you know, I think Portugal's defence have always had, you know, a lot of options in there. So the two right backs they've got is Diogo Dalot and Nelson Semedo. Dalot obviously has been playing a different system this season with Man United, playing as a wing back, left side and right side. And then you've got Nelson Semedo, who is Wolves' captain this season, and he's been decent as well. So for me, I think Dalot might get the nod at right back, you know, or you've got Wait, I think you might have João Cancelo as well, actually. I think João Cancelo might actually be in the squad, possibly. And if João Cancelo's in that squad, then he could start either right or left back. But I don't think he'll start left back. But I think Dalot will start purely because Dalot's been playing regularly. Obviously he's playing in Europe as well. At one of the top in one of the top leagues. You know, Nelson Semedo could actually start, but I think Dalot might get the nod. Left back for me, there's no argument. I know Nuno Tavares, who obviously who's in the squad, and I think it might be his first time in there. But for me, you've got one of the best left backs in the world. You know, dominated Mo Salah as well in the recent Champions League game against Liverpool, and that's Nuno Mendes. So for sure, he'll definitely start left back. And then centre back, you're picking between the likes of Renato Vega, Antonio Silva, Gonzalo Inacio, and Ruben Diaz. For me, Diaz has been poor this season, but Diaz will play because he's obviously the most experienced centre-back they've got there. And then alongside him, I think if you're going for a left-sided centre-back, you're picking between Gonzalo Inacio or Renato Vega. And I think Inacio will get the nod because Renato Vega, again, I think he's only been recently called into the squad. So, and Antonio Silva, I think he'd be the backup to Ruben Diaz. You know, so he could play next to him. I'm not sure, but I think it might be Diaz and Inacio. I think Diaz definitely starts because of his experience, and that makes up their defence. Going into midfield, again, midfield, you know, they've always had a lot of talent in their midfield. You've got João Palhinha from Bayern Munich, who hasn't really been playing that much, I don't think, this season. Ruben Neves, obviously, who's playing in Saudi. João Neves recently played against Liverpool in the Champions League and had a great performance. Vitinha, who for me is one of the best midfielders in the game, and he'll definitely start. Bruno Fernandes, again, a regular in the squad, has played decent in his last couple of games as well. Bernardo Silva, again, top player, but hasn't had the season that many expected. Neither have Man City, really. And then you've got João Felix, who, again, for me is a top player, but I don't think Felix starts, you know, and it's a shame that João Felix can't get regular game time wherever he goes. For me, how I think they're going to line up, I think they're going to play... You know what? I think they're going to play three in midfield, and I think the fact that Bruno's been playing slightly deeper for Portugal, I think they might play Bruno and Vitinha together, you know. Also, you could see João Neves in there with Vitinha because João Neves and Vitinha both play for PSG together. So they might want to get that combination. You know, they could go a bit more defensive with João Palhinha as well. But I think... Because the thing is, Bernardo Silva's going to play. So it's whether they play Bernardo Silva from the right or not. But they've got Pedro Neto as well, who can play there. Trincao, Conceição. Obviously, Giovanni Quendo's been called up as well, who's a top young player. It's going to be difficult because I think what they're going to do is what they always do. I think they're going to go with Vitinha and I think João Neves possibly in the midfield, purely because João Neves has been playing with Vitinha. And I think they'll play Bruno in the 10 with Bernardo Silva from the right. Rafael Leao on the left. And then I think they might play Diogo Jota through the middle. I think they might do that. But again, with Portugal, they've got a lot of options. Obviously, there's no Cristiano Ronaldo, who was the notable absentee from there. So it will give another player a chance to step up. But I think Portugal are quite familiar in what they do, really, with their lineup. So I think Bernardo Silva plays, but I think he plays from the right, which means that Neto, Conceição and Trincao might all start on the bench. But if they were to play Bernardo Silva as a 10, then it would play Vitinha and Bruno deep line. So, yeah, they've got options there, man. But for me, Portugal always flatter to deceive, you know. I think they've got enough to beat Denmark for sure. But I don't know if they go any further than that when they meet one of the bigger teams, purely because, you know, they always flatter to deceive. You know, they've got a lot of talent in their team. But it's just whether the I can't remember who their coach is. Is it Roberto Martinez? Is he manager them still? I can't remember if he's still there or Yeah, I can't remember, but it's whether they play the right team or not. But for me, a lot of talent in there, but I don't believe they'll win the Nations League. And then moving on to Holland, I'm not going to go through Croatia and Denmark because I don't believe they'll win it. But big up the likes of Luka Modric and Joshua Gvardiol as well. You know, Kovacic. You know, they've got some top players in their team, but for me, I don't see them going any further than where they are. And the same with Denmark. Big up the likes of Christian Eriksen, who's still there, and Joachim Andersen is a very good defender. But again, I don't believe those two teams. Patrick Dorgu, Manchester United as well. I don't believe those two teams go any further, so I'm not going to go through them. But Holland are a team that, again, you know, they've had some quality players throughout the years, the likes of Dennis Bergkamps, Patrick Kluivert, Robin van Persie, Arjen Robben, you know, Marco van Basten, Frank Rijkaard, Ruud Gullit. You know, they've had some serious players in their team. But again, just like Portugal, I think they flatter to deceive. You know, I'm not sure if they're playing Holland or not. I can't remember in the quarterfinals. And again, if they was to beat Holland, if beat France, sorry, in the quarters, you know, that would have to make them one of the favourites, because I think France or Spain will win it if they manage to avoid each other until they get to the final. But to be honest with you, they've always had some talent in their squad, but it just remains to see if they can get over the line this time. But it's 3 goalkeepers, you know, 2 Premier League based keepers in Bart Verbruggen and Mark Flecken. I think Verbruggen. Do you know what? I think Verbruggen. I think you can pick either, because I'm not sure who's the undisputed number 1, but I'd possibly go for Verbruggen. You know, and Flecken is good, but I think Verbruggen, you know, is younger and obviously should be seen as more of the long term there. Olic, I don't really know too much about, but he'll be third choice. And then going into defence, again, they've got arguably the best defender in the world still, I would say, or one of them. One of the best defenders of his generation in Virgil van Dijk, and who's their captain. So he'll be playing. It's whether they play a 3 at the back. If they play a 3 at the back, again, they've got options there. You've got Matthias de Ligt, who wasn't actually called up originally, but he could be playing right or left side. You've got Denzel Dumfries, who offer the wing back. So if they play 3 at the back, Denzel Dumfries can play as the wing back. Urian Timber, again, right side centre back, or can play as a right back. Lucharel Gertruda, again, can play as one of the 3 at the back. Jorel Hato, I think he's only 17, Hato, left side centre back or left back. And again, he's going to be one for the future. Jan Paul van Hecker from Brighton, again, I think it's his first call up. You know, he looks very good as well. And then you've got So that's the makeup of their defense. There's no Nathan Ake, who's out injured. There's no Stefan de Vrij as well, who's experienced. So yeah, man, I think that's a good quartet there, I think, of youth and experience as well. For me, I think they might play. Let me see, because I'm trying to think who they got at left back. It's going to be interesting to see, actually, because the only left back they've got really is Jorel Hato, who is actually a centre back by trade, but can play left back. So I think they might play 4 at the back. So I think they're going to play Jorel Hato. He might be playing left back, because I can't see who else is going to play there. I think the centre backs, of course, will be the captain Van Dijk. Could play Matthias de Ligt next to him, I think. But the fact that de Ligt was a late call-up doesn't make sense to me, because that means he can't be starting. For me, I'll start de Ligt. De Ligt and Van Dijk have to be the centre-back pairing. And if they're going to play Jorel Hato left-back, it's going to be between Timber and Dumfries at right-back, I believe. And I think Gertruda and Van Heck might be the bench options. But I think Dumfries might be more suited to playing as a wing-back. So he could play Yuri and Timber as the right back. And to be fair, that's quite a solid back four of Timber, Van Dijk, De Ligt, and young Hato. I think Timber could play left back actually. Yeah, in actual fact, Timber could play left back with Dumfries playing right back. So I think they might go Timber left back, Dumfries right back, De Ligt and Van Dijk. I think because I think Hato, because it's his debut, I think into the squad. I don't know if they're going to start him. So yeah, but for me, that's quite a solid defense anyway. Going into midfield again, Jeremy Frimpong. I think in this system, he won't be playing as a right back in a 4-3-3 if they play that. So I think Jeremy Frimpong will be playing as one of the wing backs or maybe as a winger. That's why I've put him in the midfield. Ryan Gravenberch for me, he's been one of the best midfielders this season. For me, will start, and I think he'll start again. For me, I think he'll start alongside Frankie De Jong. Again, Frankie De Jong missed the recent Euros, but when he's fit, Frankie De Jong's one of the best midfielders in the world, you know. And I think he'll start next to. I think him and Gravenberch will start together, which means that Tijani Reinders, who's a very good player, for me, has a point to be playing. But I think because of Gravenberch's form, and then the return of De Jong, obviously De Jong's experienced as well, and obviously he's one of the linchpins of the Holland midfield. I think Reinders might start on the bench. So, but I think if they play three in midfield, you could look at a De Jong, Gravenberch, and Reinders midfield, and then you might see, because I've put Xavi Simons in there because I think Xavi Simons could play in the 10. But if they play three in midfield or three actual midfielders, then you're probably looking at De Jong, Gravenberch, and Reinders with Geordie Shelton and Tayun Koopmeiners on the bench, along with Kenneth Taylor from Ajax. And then you might play, because I think Xavi Simons might play from the right. So again, it's all about how Ronald Koeman's going to line up, because he might play Xavi Simons from the right. If he plays him from the right, they'll play three in midfield, I believe, of De Jong, Gravenberch, and Reinders. If he plays Xavi Simons in the 10, I think he'll play Gravenberch and De Jong. You know, so, and obviously the front three, I think Cody Gakpo will play from the left. And then it's going to be interesting because I think Justin Kluivert has obviously Justin Kluivert's been playing as a 10, but I don't believe Kluivert plays. I don't know if Kluivert plays in the 10 if they play that formation ahead of Xavi Simons. So I think he might play Xavi Simons there, but Kluivert has a right to play because of his form. I think Donyell Marlon and Noah Lang will be bench options. You know, Donyell Marlon can actually play from the right. But I think as the main striker, is it still going to be Memphis Depay? Is he still going to be given a nod there? Or they might go with a physical presence of Brian Brobby. But I think Gakpo definitely starts from the left. And it's just whether it's going to be Justin Kluivert. Is he going to play him from the right? Or he might go for a Donyell Marlon. Memphis Depay, is it going to be him or Brian Brobby as the main strikers, you know? But again, they've got a lot of options there. Again, I think if they can beat France, I'd have to make them one of the favourites. But I think France might have just a bit too much for them. But again, just like Portugal, I think Holland flatter to deceive, man. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they actually do. But I think they've got a very good squad. But I think it depends on how they line up. That's going to be the main thing for me. So we have to wait and see, man. But guys, yeah, that's my take on the quarterfinal of the Nations League. You know, there's some good games coming up tomorrow. As I said, you've got Italy, Germany. You've got I think it's Spain, Croatia, France, and Holland, and a Portugal, Denmark. I think they're the quarterfinal draws. You know, I expect Spain to go through. I expect France to go through. Germany and Italy. I think Germany might just beat them, if I'm honest. Or they should beat them, in my opinion. I know they're missing Florian Wirtz and Manuel Neuer, but I think they should win that. And then Portugal, Denmark. Again, Portugal for me should win that game, but it wouldn't surprise me if Denmark, you know, if they upset them, you know, just like just like the German-Italy game. If it's a Italy win, you know, it's them two games I would say that are in the balance. But yeah, I think for me, I'm gonna go Spain or France to win it. You know, I think they're the two strongest squads. I think you know, Portugal might have a say in that, but I think Spain or France will be the front runners for this Nations League. But yeah, guys, thanks for coming on. As I say, big up your comments in there. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna possibly be back a bit later, you know, with some Man United news. Big up Leisure is it Leisure is back? Big up for coming on. And as I said, guys, yeah, smash that like button, put your notifications on, subscribe to my channel. I think I'm only 20 away from 900. So yeah, would appreciate you guys obviously smashing that like button and subscribing. And I'll probably catch you guys a bit later today. If not, definitely tomorrow. Take it easy.